Welcome. This is the analysis of Alex Gibney's 2019 documentary, The Inventor Out for Blood, documenting the rise and catastrophic fall of the biotech unicorn Theranos.
It was obviously such an incredible story. A woman creating this $9 billion company.
Everyone worshipped the ground she walked on. She could do no wrong. She was the next Steve Jobs.
The idea with the Edison was to stick the lab inside the box.
She wanted Edison devices in every home in America.
This could be the Apple of healthcare.
You all are part of something that is going to change our world. What higher purpose is there?
Elizabeth came to me and she described her idea. It's impossible.
So it began with a revolutionary promise, a single drop of blood to save millions of lives, but behind the vision lay a $9 billion deception. So this wasn't just a failed startup, it was systemic fraud. To really understand how this happened, we need to look at the three groups involved. First, at the top, we have the leadership, which is Elizabeth Holmes. She wasn't just a CEO, but she was also the architect. She actively chose secrecy over science and crafted the fake reality that fooled everyone else. Next, we have the enablers, which is the board of directors. So these were powerful men who failed to do their job. They were supposed to supervise Elizabeth Holmes, but they were so charmed by her that never checked if the technology actually worked. And finally, the vulnerables. These were the victims, the patients given false diagnosis, and the employees who were terrified into silence. So we have the core conflict here. It wasn't a business problem, it was a physics problem. Here is the hard truth. You simply cannot run hundreds of tests on a single tiny drop of blood. The technology to do that just doesn't exist yet. But when they hit this wall, they didn't do what a normal startup does. They didn't change plans or admit it was impossible. Instead, Theranos chose total secrecy.
Like, what are they trying to hide?
The mantra in Silicon Valley is move fast, break things.
That's not the way you approach science that's going to be impacting people's lives.
Quite frankly, people can die.
So this leads to our guiding questions. How did a culture of psychological manipulation override scientific reality, fooling the smartest minds in the world for over a decade? To answer this, we apply two theoretical lenses. First up, let's look at charismatic leadership theory. So basically, this happens when a leader sells such a powerful dream that people start seeing them as a hero, not just a boss. So you stop checking the facts because you believe in the person so much. So this fits Elizabeth Holmes. She played a character. She copied Steve Jobs' style in order to make herself look like a genius. Because she played the part so well, investors skipped the background checks they usually do. They didn't check if the science worked. They just trusted the hero telling the story.
We look at the psychological safety. This is a fancy term for a simple feeling, knowing you won't be punished or humiliated for speaking up or admitting a mistake. In a healthy teams, you feel safe to ask questions. At Theranos, the safety didn't exist. In fact, it was the exact opposite. Fear is what kept the secret. Employees were not just ignored, they were terrified. They knew that if they pointed out a problem, they will not just get fired, they will get sued. That threat of a lawsuit silenced everyone.
We observed Elizabeth Holmes addressing investors with intense eye contact and deliberate vocal control. In this sense, she's not presenting empirical data or verified results. Instead, she is selling beliefs and visions. According to Jules Carreyrol's investigative work by Blog, Holmes consciously modeled her behavior on Steve Jobs, including lowering her voice and adopting a minimalist personal styles in order to project authorities and certainty. This illustrates the dark side of charismatic leadership. At Theranos, this dynamic allowed Holmes' personal credibility to override scientific scrutiny. As a result, organizational decisions were increasingly based on trust in the leader's persona, rather than objective validation of the technology, laying the foundation for systemic failure.
Whistleblower Eric Chen describes the internal lab environment at Theranos. She explains that employees were pressured to delete data outliers and discouraged from questioning the reliability of the Edison machine. According to Wall Street Journal investigations, Chief Operating Officer Santhini A monitored employee emails, tracked working hours, and responded aggressively to internal criticism. As a result, technical failures that could have been corrected earlier were concealed, allowing errors to compound and pushing the organization further away from scientific reality.
We see Theranos' board of directors, including respected political and military figures, sitting in unanimous agreement with Elizabeth Holmes. Notably, most board members lack medical or scientific expertise, yet express strong confidence in the company's technology. This reflects classic group thinking at the governance level, rather than independently evaluating evidence. Directors rely on each other's reputation and defer to Holmes' perceived authority. According to the 2018 SEC complaint, the board failed to independently verify core technology claims and accepted selective information presented by management. This creates a collective illusion of legitimacy. As a result, the board, whose primary role is overseeing and challenges, become an amplifier of risk rather than a control mechanism, allowing organizational failure to persist unchecked. Another major issue was the physical divide inside the company. They literally split the building into two. Up front, you had the so-called carpeted world, the admins and the marketing team. In the back, you had the lab. Holmes and Balwani built a wall between them. Collaboration wasn't just discouraged. It was treated like threesome. If you talk to the other side, you are in trouble. They did this on purpose. By keeping them apart, the marketing team could keep selling a perfect product without knowing that the engineering teams was panicking because it didn't work.
So what can organizations learn? The Theranos case demonstrates that personal charisma can mask the fundamental capability gaps, particularly when both lack the expertise required to evaluate complex technologies. Organizations should implement a formal board diversity metric for governance oversight for technology-driven firms. This requires that a minimum proportions of board members possess relevant scientific or technical expertise, rather than relying solely on political influence or reputation. Such a structure strengthens independent challenge, reduces over-reliance on a single leader, and significantly improves the decision quality at the board level.
The Theranos case shows that when information is kept too secret for too long, problems cannot be found early. Teams are unable to check each other's work, and mistakes are hidden inside of feed. Companies should create a small internal teams whose job is to question and test important claims. This team should be alert to challenges, data, ask difficult questions, and point out risks without fear of punishment. This helps organizations find problems earlier, make better decisions, and improve product quality.
The Theranos case demonstrates that when employees have no safe internal pathway to raise concerns, problems will either remain hidden or surface externally through crisis and scandal. Organizations should establish independent third-party whistleblower channel that bypass immediate management and report directly to an ethic or audit committee of the board. This psychological safety strengthens internal control and allows organizations to detect and correct failure before they escalate into systemic collapse.